Greetings, this is Charles Darwin, and I'm speaking to you from the Santa Ynez Valley outside of Lompoc, California, in the coastal mountains. And every afternoon there's a strong wind coming in from the ocean, and it brings in the sea breeze moisture, which condenses and is able to feed plants that have no connection with the soil. Plants that are able to get all of the nutrients and the water that they need just from the atmosphere, epiphytes. And the most famous of them is this. This is a lichen known as Ramalina menziesii. And it's not, strictly speaking, a plant. As a matter of fact, you could even say that it's not, strictly speaking, an organism. It's two organisms in one. On the outside is fungus. Fungus is able to get food from other organisms, but cannot make food itself. Whereas on the inside, providing the green color to this lichen, are single-celled algae, and they are able to make food from sunlight. However, they need to be protected. They're not able to normally grow in trees, certainly not hanging out in the air, but by combining their forces, by having fungus and algae living together, the lichen is able to produce a mutualistic, mutually beneficial association, which is almost like a new organism. As a matter of fact, scientists give names not only to the algae and the fungi, but also to the lichens. Ramalina menziesii refers not to a species per se, but to the combination of the two that are found right here. As you can see from the trees behind me, the lichens actually grow quite long. This is the world's largest species of lichen, though not necessarily this individual example right here. Now, the late Lynn Margulis talked about symbiogenesis, and she said that this sort of symbiotic combination of different species into single organisms, into single units, was actually a large part of the evolutionary history of life. That was the origin, for instance, of the nucleus. A small archaebacterium moved into a larger bacterium with the result that you got a cell with a nucleus, the world's first eukaryotic cell. Also, there were respiring bacteria that moved into the existing eukaryotic cell and became the first mitochondria. Later, in some lineages, green algae, actually cyanobacteria, photosynthetic bacteria, moved into the cells that already had the mitochondria and already had the nuclei and became the first photosynthetic cells with chloroplasts in them. She had a hard time convincing other people of this insight, but eventually most scientists came to accept her view. And you can see it on the level of lichens as well. There are many examples of mutualism around the world, symbiosis, and in many cases the union of the species is so complete that it's hard to tell where one begins and the other ends. This looks like a single organism to me. That is an example of symbiogenesis, one of the important evolutionary concepts of the 20th century, one that I was not able to even imagine during my lifetime. This is Charles Darwin. Tally ho, and amen.